Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we're going to continue with our No BS news style and get some more stories covered in an extra video for you today. Hope you guys enjoy it and keep those likes and comments coming because I'm definitely reading them and using your feedback to make this show even better. So on to today's story. Today we're talking about The Last of Us Part 2, a very highly anticipated video game that lots of people are getting pretty upset about recently. You see, there was a lot of hype and the game was actually supposed to come out already, but things got delayed due to this health scare that's been going across the globe, closing down all the stores and businesses. But now things have changed immensely in The Last of Us Part 2 story, and we're going to get to why soon. Basically, all the plot details have leaked, and we're not going to be doing any spoilers today, maybe some mild ones if you're really strict, but mostly we're going to be talking about the story surrounding this. So after these plot leaks came out, basically over the weekend, people have been freaking out because now they know the ending, they know all these story points, and this is a very story-driven, serious kind of series. Like, think about if your friends really love a movie series or really love a TV show and they hang on the actors' every word. That's the way The Last of Us 2 is. And that's the way The Last of Us 1 was as well. By the way, this is a very popular game that originally came out in 2013. It's made by a studio called Naughty Dog, who have become very famous in the industry too. I'm very familiar with their games myself. I love a lot of them, including all the way back to Crash Bandicoot, which is a game I played back in the 90s. And then more recently, I got caught up and I actually played through Uncharted and Last of Us in preparation for Last of Us Part 2. So I've gotten myself all caught up, but the game got delayed, as I just mentioned. Now we have new details. The plot leaks came out, and actually Sony responded and tried to delete all these plot leaks, and now they have a release date for the game. It's supposed to come out in June now, but people aren't too excited anymore. In fact, a lot of people are asking for refunds. People are telling them to rewrite the ending, all kinds of crazy stuff. And I think the worst part about all this is the progressive agenda that's getting pushed into this movie. Now, that's the headline here. That's the main title and topic for this video. That's what we like to talk about on this show. So let's go ahead and get right into that. Basically, this game and studio has been getting left wing and SJW as hell a lot recently. And this didn't even just happen with Last of Us. This goes all the way back to their other game before Last of Us Part 2 when they came out with Uncharted 4 in 2016. A lot of people saw some feminist angles in there, particularly with one character that was a female badass named Nadine. Now, she ended up being a pretty good character and not the worst thing in the world, but she did in the game become this like unstoppable superhero who could beat up like two of the main characters without even trying. Like, she's just unstoppable. Like, you literally can't beat her. You get into these fights in Uncharted 4 where she automatically wins every time. And that's kind of like one of the first red flags with this company. Naughty Dog made that game, and then immediately after Uncharted 4, they made a Lost Legacy like expansion, and that was all girl centered. So we could see where this is going. They made a 2-girl star in that movie, including Nadine, which is the one I just mentioned, and then Chloe from another Uncharted game. They both got their own spin-off in 2017. So that was like the last thing this company made, and now we're getting into The Last of Us Part 2, which was teased a couple years ago at an E3 conference, a video game conference, and that's when even more red flags came up. This is the beginning part of the story, and basically that E3 turned a lot of heads because The Last of Us Part 2 made these big announcements. First of all, the main character is going to be an alphabet person. She's going to have a girlfriend. They even had a trailer with this big kiss in it, which was kind of shocking. I mean, I'm not trying to be a Puritan or anything. I'm not against any alphabet people or anything like that. But in this day and age, in current year, and even in a few years ago when this happened, you get a little shook when these companies start to push these agendas down your throat. You start to think, hey, are they going to be SJW? Is the plot points going to be all focused on this progressive agenda? And that's what really worries people. And I think the biggest point is back to those unstoppable female characters. That's what happens in these video games, particularly with Naughty Dog, is they make these female characters that are unstoppable, and it kind of ruins the movie, like the game's movie, and it ruins the story when you know there's certain characters, like they're just not going to kill girls because they have this agenda. So that's another part of the problem. It kind of makes them into super unstoppable creatures, even though they're still looking like girls. Some of them are pretty, some of them are skinny, petite, but they can like fight everyone. It just throws everything off, throws off the realism, makes you upset, and I could see why people are worried. Now let's get to today's newer story. I think we're all caught up there. So let's get to this new article. It comes from Engadget. It's called Major The Last of Us Part 2 Leak Appears to Show Pivotal Cutscenes. That's what I heard. And again, I'm not going to spoil too much here. I don't think this article has a lot of serious spoilers, but I'm not sure anyone here super duper cares. We're not like a Last of Us channel, but there are some people that don't want to hear anything. So now's your chance to turn around. But again, I'm not going to try to spell out everything, even though I have heard some rumors. Let's go ahead and read this article now then. Oh boy, a massive amount of The Last of Us Part 2 footage appears to have leaked online, showing gameplay, menus, and multiple cutscenes that contain crucial narrative moments. The leak's authenticity hasn't been confirmed by Sony or Naughty Dog, the developer behind both The Last of Us and the immensely popular Uncharted series. The gorgeous character models and voice work suggest the videos are real though. The leak reported originated on YouTube and has since been removed. Various Reddit threads covering the leak have been taken down. However, links to the material remain on popular gaming forums, including Reset Era. Well, now I think we know where to find those leaks if we're looking for them. I actually couldn't even find them before making this video. I had a little look around. I couldn't get them. Like everything's taken off of Reddit, YouTube. All those things have been copyright striked and all that, as they should be, I suppose. But they're still out there somewhere. I mean, I'm sure you could find them. I searched for it on Twitter. Looks like Reset Era is there. Again, I'm not trying to encourage like leaking information, but this is out there, and there is a little bit of a backstory behind that leak, which we'll get to later. The Last of Us was a groundbreaking game that followed Joel and Ellie, two unlikely companions, as they traveled across a post-apocalyptic version of the US overrun by fungus-infected and usually cannibalistic creature. A wonderfully remastered version was released for PlayStation 4 in 2014, and a TV adaptation was announced with HBO last month. The game's highly anticipated sequel was confirmed in December 2016 and following a preview event last September, originally scheduled to come out in February 2020. The release date was shuffled back to May, though, and then delayed indefinitely due to this pandemic. As Kotaku reported, the studio had been crunching for months to finish the game. Now that's some of the backstory I was hinting at before. Video game studios have recently become notorious for this crunch time thing they do, which is where they kind of just make their employees work super long days, no breaks, staying at the studio overnight, all kinds of crazy stuff to crunch out these games and get them out on time and efficiently. And also, this is part of the way the studio kind of, I don't know if they save money or they just concentrate their funds and get it done at a quicker time. It's definitely some part of them making more money, and it's coming at the expense of these employees. These employees are stressed. They already have hard jobs. Granted, they're probably all very well compensated. They're getting paid enough, but it doesn't take away the fact that they're doing hard work. They're experts. They're doing computer stuff. They're game testing, and when you have that crunch time in, this is where nightmares come from. I mean, this is where we get these bad stories going around all over the place. We've heard about crunch time for a good couple of years now, and I think this is a good reason to go back to say, hey, why did this stuff leak? Who leaked all this video footage? Well, I'm willing to bet it was someone who was getting too much crunch time and didn't have enough, felt like they weren't treated well enough, they didn't get paid enough, something like that. It just caused them to lash out in this way. So keep that in mind when you hear about leaks and you hear about stuff like that. Someone had to leak it and someone had to do it for a reason. And it's usually someone within that company who is probably disgruntled for some reason. And I would say a lot of that has to do with crunch. I'm sure a lot of these employees during this crunch time are really focused and upset and, just going all over the place, doing everything they can to stay healthy and relevant. But I'm not saying that as a justification either. I wouldn't justify leaks. I mean, these people have contracts with the company. Breaking that is illegal or whatever. It could cause a fine or something. I'm not sure what the arrangement was, but that's definitely not a good thing to do. But at the same time, the company that crunches its employees and doesn't treat them well, they kind of invite this kind of thing to happen. So next we're going to go to the response from the company on Twitter. This is Naughty Dog tweeting a response. They know the leaks are out. They've got to do damage control right now, basically. And I want to read this tweet because there's also some really good response below it. So it goes like this. Naughty Dog says, "We know the last few days have been incredibly difficult for you. We feel the same. It's disappointing to see the release and sharing of pre-release footage from development. Do your best to avoid spoilers, and we ask that you don't spoil it for others. The Last of Us Part 2 will be in your hands soon, no matter what you see or and hear. The final experience will be worth it. Signed, Naughty Dog." So yeah, this is a bit of damage control, a little over the top too. They say we know, and it's been incredibly difficult for you. I mean, I know people are super into this video game, but it is still just a game. It's still just like for fun. But I mean, this is a serious one. I get it, but a little melodramatic, but understandable because now they got to deal with this leak and everyone knows the ending. And as you'll see from these follow-up tweets, like people are just saying the ending sucks, change it. It's a month and a half away from release. They can't change stuff, is what this guy says. But I mean, if it's that bad, they might want to delay it again. People are supporting them. Someone had a heart attack. In Naughty Dog We Trust. The final experience will be worth it. Someone's joking about that. I think you can see there's a lot of mixed reactions. Some people are still on board. This guy's got a meme that's not looking too positive. What an awful response. Someone says, "You ruined the franchise, my childhood. Neil, I'll never forgive you for this. I'm immensely disappointed. I honestly hope Naughty Dog falls and all the great people who made this studio what it is can find better things to do." Well, that's a thoughtful, albeit a bit of a melodramatic thing, but again, people are really into this game. It's really popular and understandable that you get upset when you're waiting for it for so many years. They announced it in 2016, over 3 years ago, and now we got the end leak, and everyone's like, I don't really want to see that ending. Now, what I will say, I'm not going to spoil much, but I think that pretty much wraps up the summary. We talked about the crunch. Now we're talking about the bad ending, which we're not going to actually specifically get to, but I will go over some rumors vaguely, just so you can see how this is being influenced by progressive stuff. Like a lot of reasons people are upset is because the girls are superpowered. One other thing I've heard is the male characters end up dying and they get killed by these unstoppable females again. Sound familiar? Well, that's because that's exactly what I was talking about. Like I was saying, happened in Uncharted. Now, Uncharted had a lot of other stuff going on there. It wasn't like the end of the world. It didn't affect the ending, and there was still a good game there. But there was just those few scenes where that Nadine character overpowered first the main character who, if you guys aren't familiar with Uncharted, I mean, the main character is a total badass already. He's like an Indiana Jones kind of explorer who's beat many other guys in fights, much bigger guys, but for some reason he comes up on Nadine and she like ninja kicks him twice and you lose. And then the second fight is between her and Nathan and his brother, so two fighters versus this girl, and she still takes them out. And I think that's where this is going with Naughty Dog. Like, this is their next game. First they did a girl game, then they're doing this one. Now they've got this main character. The new Last of Us main character is Ellie, by the way. So another female-led sequel, like spin-off. And then on top of that, she is an alphabet, like we talked about. She has a girlfriend in this game for some reason. And then at one point, yes, there's another female villain, I think is what it is, and it's kind of like a Nadine situation, overpowered, unbelievable, and kind of upsetting, understandably. So that about wraps things up. I appreciate your guys' time today. Make sure you comment your thoughts on this story below. Try to keep it spoiler free, but also comment your thoughts. Do you think this thing's going to be progressive? Is this going to be ruined by this SJW feminist angle? Are you still going to play the game? Did you see the leaks? All your thoughts below. And then one more thing I'm going to ask of you is comment some video suggestions, because I got this new format. I'm trying to produce more, so I need more ideas. So write down your thoughts below, what video I should do next. And thanks for watching. No bullshit. We'll see you guys next time. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and have a great day.